Welcome to Telegraph Studios. I'm Louise People. Today we'll be discussing the Freedom and Choice Agenda. I'm joined by Simon Crystal, Managing Director of Workplace Solutions. Simon, how are you doing?
Hi, nice to meet you, Louise.
So we hear a lot about the Freedom and Choice Agenda. What's it all about?
Very basically, government have given individuals the right to access their pension pots in the way that they want to do so. A lot more freedom for individuals.
Okay, so it's clearly quite monumental. What's happening? What's out there?
That's a big question. You're right. It is monumental. It's a massive amount of change that we've got to be prepared for. I would look at it in three ways. As an individual, with choice comes complexity. You need to understand what it is you've got, what you want to achieve, and it can be really simple. You can put it in the context of how you want to live your life. You don't have to overcomplicate it.
Okay, as a company?
As an employer, we've got a generation of individuals who are going to live longer and have less money, irrespective of how long their employees have been working for them. If they do nothing, this group, these baby boomers, will get towards retirement, think they'll retire in the same way as the mum and dad at 55, 60, and realise they haven't got enough money to do so, and they'll just have to keep working. That will create a demotivated workforce, in an aging workforce.
Some people might not want to retire at 55.
Some people might not want to retire at 55, but no one likes to be told that they can't.
Right.
So it's a difference. So we're talking freedom of choice. It's got to be real. Finally, as an industry, it causes us to focus on the fact that the customer was always the person with the pension pot, not necessarily the trustees who were watching over that for them, or the employer who was funding it for them. So it really brings to the fore the need for us as an industry to work with these individuals and bring them into the fold.
Now, these changes, how will they impact on the international market?
We do genuinely live in a global economy these days, and people do move around into different countries. As part of the De Vere Group, the wider De Vere Group, we do have the opportunity, and we can help people no matter where they live. So whether it be Spain or Germany, America, other countries, we can help them.
But how will it affect them?
In the main, they will need to understand what their choices are,
okay,
which is the same as everybody else, doesn't matter where in the world you are. They'll need to understand and get advice on, under UK law and UK legislation as to what their choices are. And then what we will then do is we'll deliver advice in their locale as to how it works for them with that relevant tax regime. We've already seen Malta adopt the new pension freedoms for individuals that wish to transfer their pension into that location. Overall, what we would look at, and I'll try and keep this answer relatively narrow, is we would work with individuals to understand how they might benefit from the different tax treatments if they were to transfer their assets abroad, how they would deal with the currency risk, because obviously different currencies can mean it's different, different advantages and disadvantages, and finally, different investment freedoms in different locales.
So it's a dual partnership?
Dual partnership, yes. We'll do it from the UK, we'll make it clear from the UK, work within those regulations, and then they'll have their own advisor in the country where they're living, telling them and interpreting that into what it really means for them and where they're going to be at the point they retire, because they might not be back in the UK at that point.
That's very true. Now, it sounds like with freedom of choice comes great responsibility. Are we as individuals ready to make the right decision?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The framework that is going to be accessed for people to make these choices isn't ready yet. For individuals, they're not even sure where they are.
So we're not ready, we're not prepared for this at all?
We're not prepared for this, and you see this quite often now in commentators saying we're not quite there yet, there's lots of work to do. For employers, they're busy coping with auto-enrolment and the obligations that brings, particularly smaller employers, and to now say to them you've got all these additional obligations, it's going to be tough. For trustees, they've got to then say, okay, every decision we make, we've now got to think about how we communicate that to the membership, how we make sure that they understand they've got these freedoms, and that they exercise this in a sensible way. We've got a start here. We've got the Pensions Wise framework from the government, but it's just a start. Lots more to do.
So what are the most dangerous misconceptions?
That every individual will go out and blow their money, buy the Lamborghini, as the pensions minister themselves pointed out.
But why shouldn't they?
There's no reason why they shouldn't do that. What we do know is that most people don't think about life in that way. What they're looking to do is to say, I've worked hard all of my life. I've never come across the person that says I've worked hard and I want to retire in poverty.
Yes.
So I've worked hard all of my life and I want to be able to enjoy my retirement. And they can even break it up into segments there. So within here, what we've got to do is to get people to contextualise it, to understand I've got this choice now. I need to think about what the end game is. What am I going to do with this? And as an industry, we've got to find a way to communicate and engage with these individuals to help them to do it. And that will involve lots of things, such as how we communicate, how they trust us.
Sounds like there's an education needed. Who's responsible for this?
Well, primarily the government have took responsibility with the introduction of the new guidance regime and Pensions Wise, which will be delivered through, I believe, the Money Advice Service and the Citizens Advice Bureau. So government have started that process. It'll be interesting to see how that rolls out and what builds from there.
Now, I hear that the National Association of Pension Funds have said that things are not clear, legislation is not clear. What's your reaction to that?
I have an enormous amount of sympathy with the National Association of Pensions Fund because what they're saying is accurate. What I have less sympathy with is that as an industry we're incredibly slow to embrace change at times. What we do is we identify the problems and pass the responsibility to somebody else to deal with those problems, the government, the pensions regulator, the FCA. But we're supposed to be the experts in what we do. So it's about time that instead of worrying about what the problems were, we asked what is it that we can do to help the very people that we're supposed to be there as an industry to serve. And we need to step up to the plate here and start thinking what the solutions are and not reiterating what the problems we are. We all know what the problems are.
But wouldn't pensioners be worried about change?
They're the people most likely to be worried about change because they're the ones that are first affected by that change. So what we've got to do within there is to get back trust. As an industry, the financial services industry is one of the least trusted sectors that there is. And in the UK, it's actually, a recent survey identified that there was less trust in people that do our job.
So you're quite critical there. Are you saying that individuals are swerving responsibility?
I think the first thing I would say is I talk about an industry. The NAPF as a whole has some really committed people. They're trying very hard and they've got some difficult tasks and they're representing lots of industry interests within there. But yes, I am quite critical here that as an industry, I see far too much of pass the buck. It's somebody else's problem. I can highlight the problem, but I can't bring a solution. We can be innovative as an industry. We can get back lost trust. We can reclaim proper working relationships with our customers and help people to achieve their life goals. And it's a shame that we don't choose to do that.
Okay, so this all sounds quite complex, but what are Workplace Solutions going to do? Are you going to fix it?
Yes, we're designed to make a difference. That's what we're there for. We're designed to be a new generation of advisor, to, in actual fact, look and find new solutions and new ways of dealing with people that, if you like, do all the heavy lifting, get back trust in bite-sized pieces.
Well, you're clearly quite passionate about this. What would you do with Workplace Solutions? Forgive me, but you're a small company. How will you cope with such a huge issue that you're dealing with?
The first thing I would turn around and say is, yes, we're small, but we're part of a much bigger group. So we're part of Devere United Kingdom and also part of the wider Devere Group, which is one of the largest firms of independent financial advisors in the world.
Simon, we can certainly see that you're passionate about this subject. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.